Jim Mansell is one of the key characters in the story, and he died in his 50s, I think. And I read the obituary in The Guardian, and it tells this extraordinary story, which essentially is the story of the play. It tells the story of a man who became a friend with somebody in the old Ely Hospital, and they end up sort of setting up this house and really changing the world. And actually, over a period of about 2 or 3 years, I became quite kind of obsessed by the story, trying to track down people who've been involved with it. And in a way, that's how it began for me, yeah.
Because of the artists that we work with, when I first joined Hijinks in 2007, we were working with people on our projects who had been residents at the hospital. So I had known people who'd been in the hospital and had that whole experience and knew of stories connected to their experience. So we were super excited to be working with the Sherman and Tim to help them find an actor to be at the centre of this radio play, which we did. And you worked with one of our actors, Tom.
The brilliant Tom, yeah, he was amazing.
And produced this fantastic 20-minute kind of little boiled down version of the story that we've now made into a full-length show.
The story just felt so good that we talked Hijinks and Sherman had a chat and just like, surely this has to be a show. I think for a number of reasons. One, the story is incredible and inspirational. Even no one I mentioned in Cardiff seems to really know about it. So we've got this incredible moment that happened here in the 70s, which really changed the world. So it's an actor muso show, so we've got this amazing story, these amazing characters, comedy, heartfelt moments, serious struggles against adversity, all set to a banging 70s soundtrack. It felt like, that's a zinger. We've got to do that.
I think the music was one of the things that really grabbed me about it, because it's easy to think, once you start seeing images of the hospital in those days, you start, in your mind, you go back to kind of Victorian days, and you sort of see it all as this sort of distant kind of dark ages. And then you remember, this is actually the age of David Bowie and the Sweet and glam rock and ABBA. Mm-hmm. And when I read that Alan had been really interested in music and what he really wanted to do was be in a band, it somehow makes the whole story become very human. Mm-hmm. And while it is a story of a kind of sweeping social change, it's also the story of somebody who's never been outside the walls of the hospital and ends up in his own little world being a rock star in the pubs and clubs around Cardiff.
But its human connection is at the heart of it, isn't it? Which is, I think, something that's super exciting for us. Is, it has the potential, you think of the conditions that people lived in these institutions, that, it has the potential to be very harrowing, and it is to some extent at times, but the story that we focus in on, that Tim kind of has focused in on the writing, is this very human connection between two individuals, between Jim and Alan, one of the residents in the hospital. For me, what that kind of emphasizes is the importance of being able to have that connection, of visibility within our society, of all the things that we believe in at Hijinks, of inclusivity and the power of that for everyone. And I think that this story, it says so much about what can be possible and what is possible, as well as the incredible change that this simple human connection brought about.
It's theatre with music, yeah. It's funny, it's deeply moving, it's really silly, it's really serious, there's great music, there's great drama. It holds all the contradictions, I think, of the time and of the 70s, when there was wild,
and it feels
changes,
anarchic as well, which is really lovely. There's a real anarchic energy.
So I hope you'll laugh, you'll cry, stamp your feet a bit, dance a bit. It's kind of got it all, I hope.